Well, good afternoon, my TPC. I hope you're all doing well. What an awful day it was yesterday. Terrible, terrible, terrible. And just an update from yesterday. I mentioned about the emergency services being here. There'd obviously been an accident of some sort. Well, sadly, as it turns out, there had been a landslide and somebody had lost their life. And it turns out it's been a young girl of 10 years old. It's very sad for the village, and obviously very, very sad for the family and those involved. And I'm sure our thoughts and prayers are going out to the family. Terrible. Must be absolutely awful. So, today I'm smoking me Hardcastle Camden. It's the... is it the Camden? Yes, it is the Camden, sorry. It's a 9mm filter. And in it I've got some Peterson's Kalani. And I think I mentioned this on a video before about the Kalani. I won't go too much into it. It's a sweet tobacco. It's just getting us a bit. I'm just thinking a bit about that little lass. It's just knocked us a bit. It's like a sweeter tobacco. But it's very, very pleasant. I don't think it's overly sweet, but I know Smoke Snacks didn't like it when they did their review on it. But I don't mind it. I think it's better in the filter. I don't know whether you guys tried it in the filter or without a filter. I can't remember. Anyhow, I mentioned my regiment yesterday. The Green Howards. That's where me X1X, well, it's XIX 19th the Foot Regiment. And I thought I'd tell you a little bit about them. There's a lot of history with the Green Howards, as there is with other battalions. But they were raised on the 19th of November 1688 at Dunster Castle in Somerset. And they were raised by a Colonel Francis Luttrell. And I'm just going to see if I can show. I have got a picture on the wall actually of the raising of the Green Howards. Oh, just bear with me. Oh, I don't know whether you're going to get a good look at that. But that's a where are we? Sorry about this, guys. Getting a lot of backlight from the window. That's the raising of the Green Howards in 1688. And they say that there's a lot of history about them, but more recently, well, say recently, during the Second World War, it was a Green Howard who won the only Victoria Cross. The only one ever given out on D-Day. And it was won by a Stan Hollis, VC. And that's him there. Hell of a brave man. And I'm just going to read a bit about you. Stan Hollis was a company sergeant major of D Company, the 6th Battalion of the Green Howards. This battalion was one of two that were in the first wave of the landings, King Sector, Gold Beach, at 7:32 on the morning of D-Day. And it goes on to say he was no stranger to combat, having been at Dunkirk and El Alamein. He had been wounded, but he come back and fought like hell. And then on D-Day, when the late platoons of D Company had just passed the house, they came under fire from a machine gun hidden in a pillbox against a garden wall. Hollis charged some 30-odd yards over open ground under fire, stuck his Sten gun into the pillbox slit and emptied the magazine. He then lay on top of the pillbox and dropped a grenade inside before jumping down and entering the fortification, where he took the surviving occupants prisoner. He then saw a slit trench leading away to a second pillbox in the garden house. He advanced down it alone and captured the fortification and all of those in it. He captured 30 Germans single-handed. Now this is on his own. He's some brave guy, isn't he? Then later, at approximately 11 a.m, he was involved in a second action, which contributed to his award. By this time, he was acting commander of 16 platoon, its officer having been killed in action, and having spotted a field gun hidden in a hedge, he decided to try and destroy it, taking a Piat, the British equivalent of the bazooka. He was accompanied by 2 Bren gun machine gunners, crawled forward through a large rhubarb patch, then close enough to the artillery piece to try the bazooka shot. Unfortunately, he missed. And the gun about 100 yards distant turned on them and fired, but miraculously fired over their heads. Hollis shouted at the men who was with him, "Get back," and retreated to cover behind a farm building. Unfortunately, the men neither heard him or were too afraid to run. Saying he'd got his men into trouble, he'd better get them out. He took the Bren gun and advanced into the open, firing from the hip to attract the attention of the field gun team, to enable the 2 gunners to run back to the rhubarb patch for cover. Astonishingly, even though he was standing in plain sight of the enemy, Hollis was not hit. Now that's some balls, isn't it? You know what I mean? That's how he got his VC, and he was the only soldier to win the VC on D-Day. So that's some guy. And then he went, he opened a pub in Middlesbrough and he called it the Green Howards. There we go. Stanley Hollis, VC. What a guy. So as time went on, and Green Howards, I joined him. I enjoyed it thoroughly. I made some good friends. And friends for life. You do lose touch with some, it'd be good to get in touch with them again. But I certainly enjoyed my time with them. But nothing went, well, what a guy. Charging machine gun, single-handed, firing from the hip. My goodness. That's bravery. And then in 2006, I think I mentioned this the other day, the government, these new governments, we've had a good idea. Let's amalgamate the battalions and let's make them into one sort of thing. And then there was the Joker Wellingtons, the King's Division, King's Own Royal Border Regiment, the Green Howards, and they started amalgamating them, and then they're called the Yorkshire Regiment now. And it was a sad day, because the Green Howards were the oldest unamalgamated regiment within the British Army. And then you get some idiot who's in MOD in charge. Oh, let's amalgamate them. So they're rebadged. to the Yorkshire Regiment. Still a good regiment, but the still is like 1st Battalion, 2nd Battalion, 3rd Battalion, 4th Battalion. The 2nd Battalion is the Green Howards, but it still comes under the Yorkshire Regiment. But they've still got the name in there, sort of. But we have saying, once a Howard, always a Howard. Once a Green Howard, always a Green Howard. And that's what we are, I suppose. So I thought I'd just give you a little bit of that about Stanley Hollis. Look him up online. He's read it all for yourself. Look up the Green Howards. A lot of history there. And it's worth reading. It's interesting. That's if you're into that sort of thing. And it's people like that chap, Stanley Hollis. And others like him, who gave us our freedom. And a lot of these youngers forget about that now. They take it for granted what they've got. And they never just stop to think. They just think they should have everything. If the war had gone the other way, how would we be living? What would it be like? I don't know. But anyway, we've got a general election coming up on the 6th of July. Is it? No, 4th of July, is it? 1 or 2. Yeah, I don't know. Where is it? I'll tell you in a minute. I think it's your day, like over the water. Aye, 4th of July, general election. It's going to be between two idiots. That's all I can say. But I'm not going to get into it because we don't really talk politics on here, do we? But anyway, yes, we are having a general election on the 4th of July. And apart from that, guys, I don't think there's out else to report. It's been raining again this morning, not as heavy. And it's just like that miserly rain now, that wetting rain. And so not a lot to do. Me and Bob, we're going to be making an announcement, Trucking Piper Bob, on Saturday, midday. So keep your eyes open for that. It's all to do with Pipe Week. So I was talking to Bob last night and this morning, whenever it was, and we're going to both put a video out at midday on Saturday. So it should be fun, so keep your eyes open. Well, on that note, I'm going to love you and leave you. We're nearly up to 15 minutes now. It's long enough. I hope you enjoyed that bit about Stanley Hollis. You might find a bit more out about the regiment. I'll give you a bit more about it, if you want me to. It's up to you. You are the guys who are watching it. If you enjoy it, let me know, and I'll see if I can dig some more out. All right, everyone. Have a great Thursday. Enjoy it. And be kind to each other. If we're all kind to each other, we're all going to get on. And jobs are good. All right now. Ta-da.